And we're on. Hi, everybody. Well, we made it. I hope you all enjoyed the UK Asexuality Conference 2022. Yes, it's been quite a weekend. Just like to start off by putting up the thank you list again. There we go. And, so many people have made this conference happen, including two other people I have here. And it's just been immense. And I'd like to give a really special shout out to the accessibility leads and the accessibility team who have been who are listed here, led by Marissa and Krista, who's right here, and the tech leads, Daniel, Keith, invaluable support from Matt. It's been a very difficult weekend in terms of tech, and they played an absolute blinder in getting us through some of the tech problems yesterday. I'd also like to thank some of the panelists who were disrupted by the tech issues. I think it mostly affected the Black British ACES panel and to some extent the Autistic ACES panel. And so, we're really grateful that stuck with it and did a great panel in difficult circumstances. So that was just thank you all so much. I will take this off screen. I think that this is just going to be a very informal wrap-up session where we talk about some reflections from the conference, and we'll have a look at the comments on YouTube as well. Maybe start off with, well, it'd be great to hear from Yasmin and Krista. How did your panels or Discord discussions go, minus the tech difficulties, obviously?
Yeah, I think that it went really well. It definitely didn't stop us from having some really interesting conversations, like in the Black British ACE panel. And then I also had the UK activism panel right before this one. And I haven't had time to watch everything happening live for everyone else's, but I'm really looking forward to checking it all out on YouTube because it's so great that everything is going to be like up there forever. So yeah, I think it's went really well. And just like based on what I've heard, and I've heard the Discord's been really active, and I'm sure there's been a lot of really interesting conversations happening. And I've also noticed interest, so like those outside of the community that were just like interested in the fact that we're having the conference at this time. So I think it's gone really well. So thank you to everyone that's contributed and helped to make it so special, and also everyone that just tuned in to see what was happening.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's just wonderful seeing on Discord all these new connections being made, or people meeting each other from different parts of the world who met each other at the conference. So that's awesome. Krista, any reflections?
Yeah, I think it's always really nice to just kind of get the asexual community together and just be able to feel all of the support from this community that occurs when we all gather together, even in these online spaces. So that's always really nice. In particular, I was really, really pleased with the anti-racism workshop yesterday that I was leading. I think we had a lot of really good conversations there and a lot of good directions to move towards in the future. And I also was really happy with the non-romantic relationships Discord chat. Was really early this morning. I had to get up and do that at 7:30 a.m. my time. But there were almost 90 people in that discussion, which I think is amazing because that's an entirely new topic that we haven't had previously. And I mostly was in the Discord discussions this year, so I need to go back and watch all of the YouTube panels later, but I'm very excited to do that and for all the stuff that I'm going to learn going back through those.
Yeah, and we are grateful for you and everybody else who has braved the time zone differences. This is officially a UK conference, but of course it's very much not restricted to the UK, and so it's sort of built around UK times, and I know that people have sacrificed their sleep to attend. So yes, thank you for that, and thank you for leading that workshop along with Beth and the anti-racism one yesterday, and you mentioned the one this morning. So it sounds like they were all very successful. Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, if people haven't been doing this, you should drop in the YouTube comments what your favorite parts of the conference was, and we can highlight others.
Yeah, I think that we're open to comments, and lost the screen for a second. There we go. If we get any, we can put comments on screen with a bit of tech jigging about. So shall we the other thing I'd like to say is that just in terms of following up from the conference, the Discord will be kept open. There's a space in the Discord to post follow-up resources. If there's something, if there are things from the conversation that you feel were incomplete or you could expand on, there's a space for posting resources to keep these sort of conversations going. And we will email people later with a feedback form, so you can give your suggestions as to how to do things better next year, or next time we hold this sort of thing anyway. We got a comment on YouTube about keeping the conference online. Safia's there we go. Do hope this conference continues to be available online in future years. Yeah, I think this is something that we kind of discuss every year. There are advantages and disadvantages to both. And I don't know. Do either of you have thoughts on that whole question?
I mean, I think that, in the past, we've always tried to, at least, even when it's been in person, I think there's been a history of live streaming at least some of it and keeping that online, or at least recording some of it and putting that online. And I definitely think that it's important to kind of keep that information out there. I think in the future, I think we're kind of discussing like a sort of a hybrid model, because it is a lot more accessible when it's all online, but at the same time, there are so few opportunities for like ACEs to kind of conjugate in person. And I think it's really important to get to meet members of your community like off the internet. So I think moving forward, I think next year it'd be great if we could, like, hopefully we can do a hybrid model. So we can be in person, but we can also live stream it. And maybe some of the things can be virtual and some of them can be in person, and sort of mix and match it so everybody gets it, whatever their preference is.
Yeah, I think that'll be great. It's just it's kind of difficult doing both at once. I think we've sort of tried to do in the past when we do an in-person one, then that sort of takes over and it becomes in person. And it's yeah, you're right. We put videos up afterwards, but it's and we've tried to live stream it, but it's still difficult to keep sort of on top of everything that's happening virtually at the same time as everything that's happening in the conference. But yeah, do you have any thoughts, Krista?
Just to restate a couple points, speaking of the accessibility lead and someone who doesn't live in the UK, we're definitely going to keep some sessions online so that no matter where you are in the world, you can tune in, or if you're busy that weekend, you can also tune in, or if you're just unable to be there physically in person, definitely we'll have that available for you. But yeah, I think it would also be really nice to have some in-person community building there so we could see each other in the flesh. I think that would be really nice as well.
So I can talk a bit about some of the events coming up, because honestly, I don't know exactly what we're going to do next year in terms of a UK asexuality conference. If there is going to be a UK asexuality conference next year, but there are other events coming up. So one that I'd like to shout out is that next year is actually World Pride in Sydney. So let me see if I can find. There we go, Sydney World Pride. And the ACE conference is being planned for the 4th to 5th of March 2023. Now, my understanding from the organisers is that this will be partly in person for those of you lucky enough to live in Australia or who can get to Australia, and it will also, I think, have a online component. So there will be, I think, that next year we will have some sort of conference anyway. It might be partly online, partly in person, but it should be accessible to us for those of us who are not in Australia. And if you are in Australia, then I encourage you to go to that. Oh, another conference that is coming up actually a bit sooner is there's the Pan-Asia conference, which is yes, the Pan-Asia conference. You can you can see the details of this on asexualityasia.org, and the dates of this are the 23rd to 29th of October 2022, which is actually during ACE Week. So Pan-Asia is I think it's a week-long conference. It has a slightly different model to this in that I think it's 1 or 2 sessions per day, rather than having a concentrated thing in 2 days. And it's during, like I say, it's during ACE Week, which is 23rd to 29th of October 2022. And of course, Ace Week itself is a fun thing that's coming up. Do either of you already have plans for Ace Week?
I think for me, it's mainly encompassing some social media stuff, and then also like a lot of talks for like different businesses and some universities. I think I've got one coming up with the University of Manchester
No.
and some places in around London. So yeah, it's kind of things like that for me.
Cool. Krista, or is it too early?
Yeah, it's a little bit early. I'm kind of in the middle of planning what I'm going to be doing for Ace Week. I run the Ace Aero group at my university, so we've just started talking about what events we want to put on during then. So we'll see. We usually do a lot of fun discussions and social events so people could get to know each other.
So about just a bit more about Pan Asia. It's going to be Pan Asia is organised by Dr. Pragati Singh of indianasis.org, and it's going to be a virtual space for discourse and community building. You can see its website, and there are still lots of ways to get involved. You can collaborate. I think that means get involved in the organisation. You can present. You can perform. It would be interesting to learn what sort of performances there are. Speak, volunteer, or just participate. So that's something to look forward to. Cool. Now let's see. Do we have any comments? So we have Krista asked us the question earlier about what were people's favourite comments of the session. Comments. So Ziggy says, trans non-binary ACEs Discord chat was a great conversation, as always. Were you in that? I guess were you in that one, Krista?
Yeah, I was one of the leaders for that with Matthew. It's always a great discussion. I've participated in that for a couple years now, and I really like how we were able to get into intersections between asexuality and gender in there.
Oh, that's nice. And yes, yeah. So those of us who sometimes have a really good meetups, in-person meetup scene, might sort of take it for granted that it's not always easy to meet ACEs in person. Yeah, the ACE research is always is always extremely popular every single year. No matter what the sort of topics within the research, it's always. I think it's because ACEs are quite an intellectual lot. I don't know. What do you think?
There's a pattern. I think it's a bit of a pattern.
I'm a PhD student, so I don't feel like I should comment.
Maybe a bit biased, but the masculinity panel. I don't think you're biased. I think that, well, we're all biased in that we'd love to see good discussions about asexuality and the various intersections. Oh, this is one of yours, Krista. Krista is largely responsible for setting up the small group chats. So, yeah, anything you'd like to say about that?
I mean, I haven't heard anything about how they've been going over the weekend, so I assume everything is running smoothly. I'm really glad you enjoyed those. I hope we can continue that for future events that we're holding.
Cool. General Discord discussions were great. That's good to hear.
Yeah, it's a great way to meet other ACEs as well.
Do we have any more comments? If not, I'd really just like to wrap up with two things. First of all, this conference has been a great experience, and it's very important for us to be able to run these conferences and to keep them accessible, and it does come with some costs. So there is, if you've enjoyed the conference and would like these to continue, we have a fundraiser. I'll put the link up here. This is the This is the dollar version of. I should have done the other way around. This is the dollar version of the fundraiser. It's also in the description of the YouTube video. And there's a pound fundraiser. And actually, this brings us back to, we had this really fun Ace Baker event earlier in the year. Let me see if I can screen share from it. I realize the event's over, but it was a lot of fun, and you can watch it back on YouTube. So let me see. There's a snapshot from the Ace Baker. So yeah, I guess Krista, you were more involved in that than certainly I was. I was watching from the background and trying to plug it on social media. What are your reflections from that?
Yeah, so Ace Baker we had 3 people, including Daniel, who was part of Ace 101, did a number of other things, and they all baked a cake live on YouTube, while myself and Sarah Cosgriff, who hosted the British Aces of Asian Heritage, I believe, panel, hosted and just kind of made small talk while they baked. And then at the end, we got to judge the cakes, and a lovely time was had by all. We got to talk about how much we love cake and garlic bread, and we were able to raise a decent amount of money for this conference, which allows us to keep it accessible and free for everybody attending. So if you want to give us any of your money, fundraisers are still open, and we would really appreciate it.
Oh, I think we have another couple of comments. Can we get those on screen, please?
Yeah. Someone at like the Black British Ace panel. Thank you very much for attending. I always like to, I think we had like Aces and Ethnicity. We've had like a kind of like different versions of it, but I think this is our first like specifically Black British Ace one. So thank you for checking that out. We did have some technical difficulties for that one, but their whole thing is still on YouTube nonetheless. So if you missed it, you can go check it out.
Yeah. And it'll be great to. I imagine that there might have been 1 or 2 people who unfortunately didn't see it live because of the tech difficulties. But why it's important to plug this on, make sure that the panel, the recording gets spread around so as many people can see it as possible, because it's such an important conversation. And is there one more? There's one more about the small group chats. Another vote of confidence, I think. Oh, garlic bread.
I could too.
I'll read this one out. Small group chats were a fantastic idea. The small group is planning on meeting again tomorrow. So yeah, we've got a thing going. So yeah, well done, Krista, for doing that.
That's awesome. I hope people are able to make good friends through this format.
So I think we're just about there. Unless, I'd like to ask what both of you are doing next. Because actually, I know especially Yasmin has some exciting things to say there. Sorry to put you on the spot. Should we start?
No.
Okay,
Yeah. So tomorrow I'm flying out to Serbia. It is Euro Pride this year, and it's going to be hosted by Belgrade, which is awesome because I think that's the first time like a of Eastern European country has ever hosted Euro Pride, and there's also, like a kind of a lot of tension within Serbia when it comes to like LGBTQIA plus things. So a lot of people have tried to stop it from happening. So it's great that everything's still managing to go ahead. I'm going to be speaking at the International Human Rights Conference on the 14th about asexuality, which is very exciting. And I'm going to be there from the 12th to the 18th. So if there's any Serbians who are tuned in right now, drop by and also let me know what I should check out, because I've never been to Belgrade before. It seems like a really cool city.
No, I've not been either. That's anybody from there in the chat. It'll be is your talk going to be recorded or live streamed or anything?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. If it is, I'll definitely share it. But yeah, if you're in the area and you want to come to the conference, like you can just kind of like register to join. It's free. A lot of the events going on this week are going to be free. So yeah, it'd be cool to meet some Serbian aces in person.
Do you have anything exciting coming up, Krista?
Like I said, I'm a PhD student, so after this,
That's exciting.
going back to focusing on my schoolwork, and I'm going to be sleeping a lot to recover from British time this weekend.
I think that the entire organization team and many of the people who have braved time zone differences really deserve a lot of a very long sleep after this.
And what about you, Michael?
I'm going back to that relaxing thing called work, which is like sort of 5 days a week between 9 to 6, and that's actually compared with AceCon stuff, that is like a holiday. Just because it's less, just not it's not wonderful. I love the AceCon, I love the whole thing. Just in terms of exhaustion levels, give me work anytime.
Definitely. We need to give another shout out to Michael and Krista and everyone else that because I've been very busy. So I haven't been, working on this as much as a lot of other people have done, just to get everything to go according to plan. And the fact that we are now at the closing and everything went pretty smoothly, and we've really got a really insightful conference. So thank you to everybody that made that happen. Now we can relax a bit until next year.
Yeah, thank you. And apart from us, it's there are so many other people. Like just by name, I love to mention Marissa, who has been absolutely immense, and Daniel, Keith, and support from Matt recently, who is invaluable tech support, and Katie and JV, who are right here in the background, the off-cam melds. Yeah, thank you all, and obviously thank you, Yasmin, as always, for hosting.
Thanks again for having me.
Cool. I think that unless anybody has any final comments, we're good to go, and stay ace. Feel free to hang around in the Discord for a while. I'm sure people will want to go on voice, and there's plenty of time to make connections. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. See you next year. Bye.
Bye.